Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making one pot skillet spaghetti. Alright, I'm starting out on my large cast iron skillet I have preheated, and I'm going to add in a pound of ground beef. And I'm going to get this broke up and it's starting to brown up. Alright, now that my ground beef is about halfway browned up, and I don't have to worry about draining this because this is lean ground beef, that there is actually just liquid that cooked off the burger. That'll evaporate out. I'm going to add in one onion I diced up. And we're making our sauce homemade, guys. If you want, you can use jarred sauce. But this is a simple sauce to make. And once you have homemade, you're never going to want store-bought again. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to allow this to fry for a little bit. So my ground beef is done browning up and my onions start to soften up. Alright, now that my ground beef is all browned up and my onions are starting to soften up, I'm going to add in some garlic. And I'm using the pre-diced stuff. I'm going to add in a heaping forkful. If you use fresh, go ahead and use about 2 cloves. I'm going to give that a stir. Get that garlic in there. I might add a little more into my sauce as I taste it. And guys, if you could smell this. Now I'm going to add in a can of crushed tomatoes. This is 28 ounces. And I keep my sauce as simple as possible. I'm going to add in a can of tomato sauce. This here is 15 ounces. Now I'm going to take that can of crushed tomatoes and I'm going to put a can of water in. I'm going to start with just a little bit right now. And that's a 28 ounce can, as I said before. And I'm just going to give this a stir, turn my heat up a little bit. And guys, if you're going to do this in a skillet, make sure you have a big enough skillet. You don't want to do it in a small one. You could also do this in a pot. As long as you have a tight fitting lid, that's all you need. Alright, now we're going to start to season this sauce up. When my mom would make homemade sauce, she would take a big, like 64 ounce can, I believe that's how big it was, of tomato juice, a 16 ounce can of tomato sauce, and like a 4 ounce can of tomato paste. I'm just doing it the easy way here. Just as delicious, and you get some texture from that crushed tomato. Alright, now I'm going to season my sauce. I'm going to start by putting a little bit of salt in here. I'm going to go for about a teaspoon. And we'll stir that in. Okay, now I'm going to taste it. You want to taste as you go, because you can always add a little extra, but if you put too much in, you can't take away. So you want to go taste as you go and go in stages. Give that a try. A little more salt. And that's my son Greg getting home from work.
How are you doing, guys?
Hey, Greg. Alright, now let me taste that for salt. And I paused the camera for a minute so Greg could get through, and he said, "You can leave that in?" Or I said, "Yeah, I'll leave that in." Greg's my 21-year-old son. He's the middle son out of 3 boys. That's good for salt. I'm going to add a little more garlic. And I know I tasted off that spoon, but it'll be alright. Now I'm going to add in sugar. I'm going to go for probably about a tablespoon of sugar. And sugar is what really sets your sauce off. Makes it really good. You don't want to get too much in there, but you want enough to give it a nice little sweet flavor. That helps offset the acidity of the tomato sauce. Give that a try. A little more sugar. tasting with the sugar. Now I'm going to go for about a tablespoon of dry oregano and a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Stir that in. My mom used to use a spaghetti seasoning called Spatini. It's like little packs. I don't think you can buy that anymore. Any of you guys remember that Spatini spaghetti sauce seasoning? She used to use it all the time. She loved that stuff. Alright, let me give this a taste. A little bit more Italian seasoning and oregano, about a teaspoon more. You guys, it's getting really flavorful, and as the sauce cooks, it'll get even more flavorful as those spices start to release their oils, and the tomato cooks. You get those beef juices in there and stuff. It'll all come together really nice and delicious. Alright, let me give this a taste. Alright, now I'm going to add in my spaghetti. I have a pound of spaghetti here. And I'm going to break this in half as I put it in there. And Dexter's awful talkative today. Now normally I don't break my spaghetti in half, but since I'm doing it in a skillet, I'm going to break it in half today. You just want to get it all down in there. Alright, now that I have all my spaghetti in there, I'm going to add in some more water. The rest of that can. And that seems like a lot of liquid. That spaghetti will drink that up as it cooks. Okay, we want to put a nice tight fitting lid on there. And I'm going to bring this up to a gentle boil. And I'll go and I'll stir that around as the spaghetti cooks. I'm going to bring this up to a gentle boil, and I'm going to cook it for probably about 10 to 13 minutes. I like my spaghetti tender, not al dente. If you like yours al dente, cook it a little less. But as this gets cooking, the spaghetti gets softening up, I'll go in and stir that. Alright guys, this is ready. It actually took about 20 minutes because you have to cook this at a slower rate than you would if you boil the spaghetti in a pot of water. And I had to go in and add in about 1.5 cups of water throughout the cooking process. This is ready to go. Let's go ahead and fix up a plate and see what we got. Guys, I went ahead and added some Parmesan cheese and a little more Italian seasoning on that. Let me get in here and give this a try. Now the important thing with this, guys, is when you're doing it, do it over medium heat. Keep an eye on the water level because it's going to drink up that water. Like I said, I had to add in 1.5 cups of water to it. And keep it stirring and covered. It's really good. Spaghetti's tender. It drank up that sauce, where if you would boil your spaghetti and put it in the sauce, it doesn't soak up the sauce quite as good as this. You get the seasonings, you get the flavor of the beef, and you get a little bit of that sweetness from the sugar coming through. Alright, there you have it, guys. One pot skillet spaghetti. Thanks for watching, and remember, love what you eat and eat what you love.